Hold up, Lakers Nation. We need to talk about something that's simultaneously fascinating and absolutely terrifying for every purple and gold fan across the globe. There's a trade proposal floating around that would send the king himself, LeBron James, to the bright lights of Madison Square Garden, and the basketball world is absolutely losing its collective mind over the possibilities. Sports Illustrated's Mark Morales-Smith has thrown a nuclear bomb into the NBA rumor mill with a proposed deal that would ship LeBron and Bronny James to the New York Knicks in exchange for Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, and a first-round pick. Just typing those words feels surreal. But in today's NBA landscape, nothing is completely off the table. Let's be crystal clear about something right off the bat. This trade scenario represents a kind of seismic shift that would fundamentally alter the championship landscape across the entire league. We're not talking about moving role players or even all-stars. This is about potentially relocating the greatest player of this generation to one of the most iconic franchises in professional sports. The psychological impact alone would be staggering. LeBron James in a Knicks uniform, playing at Madison Square Garden 41 times per year, bringing his championship pedigree and basketball IQ to a franchise that hasn't won a title since 1973. The media attention, the fan excitement, the pure basketball theater of it all would be unlike anything we've seen in recent NBA history. From New York's perspective, this trade represents the ultimate swing for the fences move. They would be acquiring a player who, even at 40 years old, is still performing at an elite level and could single-handedly transform their championship odds. The Knicks have been building a solid foundation with players like Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, and adding LeBron's leadership and playoff experience could be the final piece that pushes him over the championship threshold. But let's dive into the basketball implications for both sides. The Knicks would be giving up two incredibly valuable pieces in this hypothetical deal. Josh Hart has been a revelation since arriving in New York, providing the kind of hustle, versatility, and basketball IQ that championship teams are built on. His ability to contribute across multiple statistical categories, while never requiring plays to be drawn up for him, makes him exactly the type of role player that superstars love playing alongside. Then there's OG Anunoby, who might be the most significant loss in this entire trade scenario. We're talking about one of the premier wing defenders in the entire NBA, a player who can guard multiple positions at an elite level while providing consistent three-point shooting on the offensive end. In today's NBA, where wing defense is absolutely crucial for championship contention, losing Anunoby would create a massive hole in the Knicks' defensive identity. The inclusion of Bronny James in this trade adds another fascinating wrinkle to the entire scenario. LeBron has been vocal about his desire to play alongside his son, and any team acquiring the king would likely need to accommodate that family dynamic. For the Knicks, adding Bronny could be seen as a necessary sweetener to convince LeBron to waive any no-trade clause and embrace a move to New York. From the Lakers' perspective, this trade would represent a complete philosophical shift. Trading LeBron would signal the beginning of a rebuild or retool, focusing on younger assets and future flexibility rather than maximizing the remaining years of his legendary career. Hart and Anunoby will provide the Lakers with two proven NBA players who could contribute immediately while also fitting better into a younger timeline. The defensive upgrade for Los Angeles will be immediate and significant. Anunoby's ability to guard elite wings would address one of the Lakers' most glaring weaknesses, while Hart's versatility and basketball IQ will provide exactly the type of complementary playmaking and rebounding that the team has been missing. These aren't just replacement-level players. They're legitimate contributors who could help the Lakers remain competitive even in a post-LeBron era. But here's where this trade proposal gets really interesting from a championship timeline perspective. The Knicks will be going all in on a championship run with a 40-year-old superstar, betting that LeBron's experience and leadership can overcome any age-related decline. That's a massive gamble, but it's exactly the type of bold move that organizations make when they believe their championship window is now or never. The first-round pick inclusion adds another layer of value for the Lakers. In a potential rebuild or retool scenario, having additional draft assets becomes incredibly important for long-term roster construction. That pick could be used to draft a young prospect or package with other assets to acquire additional talent through future trades. The salary cap implications would need to be carefully managed on both sides. LeBron's contract would represent a significant financial commitment for the Knicks, but they would be betting that his on-court production and off-court marketing value would justify that investment. For a franchise like the Knicks, which plays in the largest media market in the country, having a player LeBron's global stature could pay dividends beyond just basketball success. The cultural impact cannot be understated either. LeBron James has spent his entire career building relationships and legacies in different cities. Moving to New York at this stage of his career would represent a completely new chapter in his story, playing for one of the most scrutinized and passionate fan bases in all professional sports. From a basketball fit standpoint, LeBron alongside Brunson and Towns could create one of the most potent offensive combinations in the league. His ability to play multiple positions and facilitate for teammates would give the Knicks incredible flexibility in their offensive schemes. The potential for LeBron to operate as a point forward while Brunson handles primary ball handling duties could create matchup nightmares for opposing defenses. The playoff experience factor will be transformative for New York. LeBron has been to 10 NBA Finals and won 4 championships. That kind of playoff pedigree and pressure experience would be invaluable for a Knicks team that's still building its playoff identity. Having a player who's been through every possible playoff scenario could be the difference between advancing deep into the postseason and suffering another disappointing early exit. But we need to address the elephant in the room. Would LeBron even want to go to New York? His family is settled in Los Angeles. His business interests are primarily on the West Coast, and he's built a life and legacy with the Lakers organization. Any trade would likely require his blessing, and convincing him to embrace a move to New York will be no small feat. The competitive balance implications across the entire league would be massive. Adding LeBron to an already solid Knicks roster could immediately vault them into championship contention in the Eastern Conference. That would create ripple effects throughout the league as other teams adjust their strategies and roster construction in response to New York's newfound superstar power. For Lakers fans, this trade proposal represents both opportunity and heartbreak. Losing LeBron would mean saying goodbye to one of the greatest players in franchise history, but the return package could set up the organization for sustained success in the post-LeBron era. Hart and Anunoby are both in their prime and could contribute to winning basketball for years to come. The timeline considerations are crucial here. If the Lakers believe LeBron's championship window is closing and they want to position themselves for future success, this type of trade could make sense. But if they believe he still has elite years left and want to maximize their current championship odds, keeping him becomes the obvious choice. So what's the verdict on this blockbuster proposal? It's the type of trade that would reshape the entire NBA landscape, create unprecedented media attention, and potentially determine championship outcomes for multiple seasons. Whether it makes sense depends entirely on each organization's timeline, risk tolerance, and belief in their current championship odds. What do you think, basketball fans? Is this the type of bold move that could launch the Knicks to their first championship in over 50 years? Or would trading away Hart and Anunoby create too many defensive holes to justify adding even a player of LeBron's caliber? The implications are staggering, and the basketball world would never be the same.